We can get the show started here. This is this is the Fargo Five. I'm Conrad Fargo. We're starting with Fargo Famous. We've got Adriana Woltjer? Adriana.
Woltjer,
Is it Adriana or Adriana? I'm
Adriana.
sure everybody pronounces it
Yeah.
perfectly every time.
Oh yeah, so true. It's Adriana Woltjer.
Woltjer like a vulture. That's what you
like
told me.
vulture, but with the wool.
But with the wool.
Yeah,
A wool vulture.
Yeah,
That's
Woltjer.
psychedelic, man. Okay, cool. And you are with the Makers Market.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that coming up in the next segment, Fargo Fun. But first, I want to talk about you.
Okay.
So, are you from around here?
Yes, I'm actually from the Moorhead side of Fargo-Moorhead. Grew up and went to school all on the Moorhead side.
So you're a spud?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Yes.
class of 04. I'm an old man.
Nice.
I'm a spud as well.
Okay.
And
I have some older siblings that are.
I went
around
to the
that
old
age.
high school, and so you must have as well, because they're just about to tear that thing down.
Well, I guess
With the mural
the
of
old,
very happy
quote
faces.
on old high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that's over that they're adding on to right now.
Well, they're not adding on to it.
They're actually just completely.
They're going to tear down.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
I stay away from that.
So when? Yeah. When did you graduate? What class are you?
2015.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a minute ago. That's like 8 whole year. Where am I? What year is it? That's 8 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
We're
my
getting up there.
goodness. Yeah.
A couple of my friends that are married to a couple people, or people 2 years older than us, just had their 10-year class reunion. So she was talking about how much fun that was.
Well, so we did ours. We did a 19 instead of 20.
Oh.
Because they're tearing down the building.
Okay.
So they're gonna. What they did. So they must have started after you left. They building it in the parking lot. Remember the parking lot there? They're just building a new one.
I was wondering what they were going to do with the parking lot space, because I was like, I kept telling some of my friends that parking lot was already too small for everybody.
Yes. And
that makes more sense.
They agree. And what they're doing is they built it on the parking lot, and then they're going to tear down the current, like completely demolish it.
Wow.
So remember that mural with all those really happy faces?
Yeah.
Gone forever. And that, yeah. And
hopefully they'll like photograph it, and then they can like hang those in the hallways
I definitely
of the
photographed.
New one.
I definitely photographed.
Good.
I went there. I was like, this is cool. Wow. It was
Yeah.
like PTSD. I hadn't been there in 20 years.
Yeah, no, I haven't been there in a long time.
It was wild. So you're class of 15.
Yes.
Over in Moorhead.
Yep.
All right. Very cool. And that was 8 years ago.
Yes.
And what have you been doing since then?
So after school, I kind of traveled for a little bit. I was a little bit unorthodox with the way that I followed my path. And so I worked in childcare for a little while at Nokomis, which was a wonderful daycare. It was a nonprofit daycare ran through the village.
Hold on, nonprofit daycare.
Yes.
How does what makes it nonprofit?
So it was ran through the state. It was ran through the village.
Oh.
And the village was started, the family village. They were started, basically for children in a sense. Well,
this must have been in Moorhead.
Fargo-Moorhead. It was actually in Fargo.
Oh.
The two buildings were.
Okay.
And they were around for about 30 plus years, and they randomly decided they were going to close. And the new owner of the village decided that they weren't going to do childcare anymore. And so we only got paid once a month there, and so we got a severance check. So we got our last check, which was once a month check, and then we got a severance check for that next month.
Oh, very cool.
So I decided, being 19, 20, that 19 turning, I had just turned 20.
Because you have like 2 whole months worth of pay in your hand.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
I was like, oh, this is a great idea. I'm going to go with my good friend at the time to follow the band Ween on tour.
No.
Yes,
No way. Ween?
Yes,
you know
yes.
Ween.
So
Ween is a recurring guest on this show from my mind and my mouth. I talk about Ween all the time.
Yes.
I play Ween songs. I might even have one on today's track list.
Yes, so
I'm huge
went
Ween
to
head.
Colorado. I got to see them with one of my good friends.
Oh.
And then we followed them up to Missoula.
I'm
and
jealous
went
on your life.
their next. Yes, it was so much fun. It was great. I decided not to go to school and kind of just not take that route, because I wasn't taking it seriously anyway. So why waste my money or time?
My wife and I, our bucket list is to go see Ween.
Well, they'll probably still be playing, so you're fine. It was amazing.
What's your favorite Ween song?
Ocean Man, obviously.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
I like Ocean Man.
featured
wait.
on the SpongeBob's. I mean, that's
well, yeah,
right?
and that's kind of what dove me into
No,
Ween.
really?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
That was the very first Ween song I had ever
Okay.
heard. And to be honest, I actually did not listen to them in full. Like I only heard a few of the songs. I was going with my friend to kind of escape like my real world life, not necessarily. And then I fell in love with Ween, and I fell in love with honestly more jam bands and a little bit more of that lifestyle in a sense as well. You know, I was already a free spirit. I already wanted to travel a lot in that sense, and
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that was like
friends.
that was like a good month or so of my life.
We just
in
became
a
best
sense,
friends
and
right
I'm
now.
Awesome.
Like, this is
on my
so
list.
cool. Like Ween. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear their country album?
Mm-mm.
Like, so I'm not a big fan of country music. Like, I just
Okay, but everybody that says that still loves a couple country songs,
like Johnny
so.
Cash and like the old Western stuff.
Yeah,
but,
like old school country.
Yeah,
or something
and
like
no
that.
offense to Travis, but it's not my jam. But their country album, I can just listen start to finish the whole thing.
Yeah?
It's amazing. It's
I gotta
like
listen to it now.
it's
I
like a
gotta check it out.
legit. Like it's old style country western music, but it's very obviously Ween, but only from the lyrics.
So like a more jam band, or just because of the lyrics?
Just because the lyrics are kind of like get like psychedelic. Like my favorite song off their country album is "Help Me Scrape the Mucus Off My Brain," which is about being addicted to whiskey.
What is your favorite Ween song?
My favorite of all the Ween songs.
I shouldn't say Ocean Man's my favorite. I actually have a couple more that I don't remember the name of that I'm like thinking of, but I cannot remember.
I'm trying to think. What's the one? There's one that has this big orchestral, and like that does not. It's like this big orchestral breakdown, and it has. You know what? I'm gonna have to look up the Ween discography on the break.
That's fine. That's what I was gonna do, and then just say like, "Hey, what is my favorite song? What is the few
it's probably
song?
It's either from. So my favorite two albums are the Mollusk and Chocolate and Cheese.
I love Chocolate and Cheese.
But yeah, they're
and see on that tour I met these two little girls, and they were with their mom, and they were like 7 and 8, and I asked them their top 5 favorite bands, and they said like Fish was one of their favorites, which I like laughed in that sense. And then they went on to like saying Ween and a couple of the other Useful Jenkins and a couple of those other ones too. And I was like, these are the coolest girls I've ever met. Now I have a child who loves all music as well because we listen to such a range at home. So.
I don't, and I my music range is very eclectic, so I don't have a very deep. I'm not sure. Would Bongzilla be considered a? Have you ever heard of Bongzilla? Would they be considered a jam band? I really like and they're kind of really
I don't know,
psychedelic.
I'll have to check them out actually.
Yeah, well, they run their guitars through a bass amp, and it's got like this really crunchy sound, and it's just like really drony,
more grungy.
Yeah, it's very very good. I'm gonna have to bring up some. Wow. Gosh, if I had known, I would have made an all Ween playlist. But instead,
I love that. That's funny.
Instead, but kind of along that lines, we are going to be listening to The Doors with, the song that popped into my head, given the time of year, Summer's Almost Gone.
Summer is almost gone.
Yes, by
Sadly.
The Doors. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be back with Fargo Fun.